All right, let's see if I am live. Testing, testing. 44K mass meditation. May 12th, 2025, full moon in Scorpio. And now I should also be live on free conference call as well. So 3 platforms. Well, really, it's more like 6 us. 1 6 us to all. Let me see. 3 separate platforms. So you, I believe, or Facebook. Rumble, I do have the thumbs up on all platforms. Okay, technically it's 5 altogether, but 1 restreams to 3, if that made sense. Never mind. We're here to handle all the technical platforms. All righty, let me see. Fantastic. Great to have everyone here. Wonderful seeing so many familiar faces, and we are quite literally, as always, taking charge and tapping into untapped or largely untapped mind power or consciousness power, if you prefer, ultimately from behind the scenes, driven by heart power. And we're simply going to get the show on the road. And apologies that news and intel has been light, but a flood of things will start happening and we will be allowed to know them pretty thick and fast. Roughly, I guess probably June, July, although a lot may come out in late May. So it's a case of steady as she goes, and I guess consolidate the victory, really, at this point, and finish it quicker. And the garbage, we will, again, the 144K is known and well established with this pretty strong reputation to realize a deeper aspect of so-called mind power, accelerate our freedom, realize our dreams through powerful tools that are also used for internal shadow work. So as we settle in, okay, is that a good time in Europe as well? Fantastic. So this is one of the rare moments that a celestial event suits both Europe and North America. It doesn't suit if you're in Australia or the Far East, unless you're a night owl. But transatlantic region, Middle East, and to a lesser extent China, that's the heart of the world, where the world revolves around, at least for now. And I want to extend a very big, very sincere congratulations to all of you for once again stepping forward and making change in the literal sense, making the news or improving the news the 3D news that we see, literally. As all that is, looks upon us. I don't like to use the term looks down upon us because that's not fair and in one respect, not accurate. They look up at us in a lot of respects, fundamentally speaking, because the place of greatest honor, but also change. Earth being a nexus planet, that what happens here affects a whole multiverse, never mind universe. Hence, they look up to us, not down upon us. The usual reversals of the matrix, we're here to set them, turn them in a divine right way. Nothing new there. So, begin. Let's effectively begin the mass meditation by taking the usual slow, deep breaths through our nose. And as it turns out, you actually get more oxygen, much more oxygen, if you hold it on the out breath for a few seconds before breathing in. There you go. Another example of a reversal of the so-called truth. So not for the first time, we're going to go deep into secrets to find that one thing that'll make the biggest difference. That source will allow, that humanity and Gaia is ready enough for. Because you really can't jump the gun with this sort of thing. It doesn't work that way. It's all, an experienced grid worker will tell you, it's all sequencing. You can't get to that until you do this first. But we're going to fully maximize that. Even just removing blocks to allow a more seamless, graceful reception, accretion, and conduction of these so-called rough, extreme cosmic energies. I mean, just achieving that is huge. Because how well Gaia, the grid's humanity, can receive, conduct, install, and run these very different genetic codings, clearing energies, fundamental recodings of the matrix back to a natural divine 3D construct matrix, how smoothly and fast that can go without this jarring, jolting garbage. It depends on how much we remove by groups such as the 144K. If you don't clear, whether it's internal or external, if you don't clear enough, you can't receive. If you can't receive, change, ascension, yep, it becomes brutal. I know at least half of you will agree with that, just on a personal level. And this reminds me that this full moon is all about bringing a peaceful, graceful, and expedited closure to the craziness and intensities of eclipse season. Eclipse season, arguably the most dramatic, intense, brutal, but transformative in my memory. Doesn't fully complete until the 14th of May, which is 2 days from now. That's when it's all said and done in terms of eclipse season, but also its potentialities, its divine purpose, and achieving, accreting, conducting to the fullest timeline extent the divine purpose. So there is a strong element of completion. How well can we complete this intense, crazy, transformative eclipse season? As you continue to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. And like I said, effectively begins the mass meditation. And I've just got 12, 12. Perfect. And for those of you who are new, always remember what you see out there. Now, we got the track record for this, by the way. I'm not just talking the talk, because God knows we've walked it. Everything you see out there with news, so-called alt media, very much an afterthought, decided by what we're about to do. After, what have we got now? 8 years of doing this form of advanced mass meditation, we know what we're talking about. Now, see yourself in a gigantic, a translucent silver crystal ball. Always remember, reality is quite literally a projection of your consciousness in the very strict sense. We're projecting your consciousness from the physical to the non-physical. Not quite the case when projecting it from the physical to the physical, only because of this thing called consensus reality and matrix construct rules and parameters. You're still true to a degree, but there's other factors involved. But no, that silver translucent crystal ball you are now in is real. engage the right hemisphere of your brain, which is kind of like the mechanism or conductor of supreme consciousness, is another way to put it. And see the usual dotted golden ring all around the inside of the equator. Of the crystal ball. That are all the astral or golden light bodies of your fellow 144K comrades. That are absolutely accepting nothing else except unconditional freedom. That's why you're here. And now let's call in Gaia, authentic Gaia, authentic Gaia. We call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia. Please be here with us. All right. See Gaia. In the center, adore and admire her beautiful polar rice caps, white clouds over the oceans, a continent or two of your choice. You're the god or goddess. Simply be who and what you really are. This is the time and place to bring that out. Okay. Authentic Gaia. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic goddess Gaia. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up with us to beyond the multiverse? To multiply the power and impact of this 144K mass intervention by 100. Well, it's more like 1,000, but I guess I'm being conservative. Okay, good. And how we start to move up through the layers of this universe, you notice the first few white horizontal layers of this universe. As we zoom up through, well, seemingly through everything, through frequencies, sub-realms, subplanes, dimensions. Look down at your feet, look down at Gaia, look up across at Gaia. Look at the walls. Of the crystal ball as you see that therapeutic, calming, centering, flickering, soft flickering of light through the silver translucent walls of the crystal ball, racing up like a super fast elevator. Look all around. Dimensionalize it in the metaphoric sense. As we rapidly approach that last thick outer boundary of this universe and work way above the multiverse where there's way less, practically none, forms of interference, where we are way outside even the universe's matrix. Again, it's all about power, ultimately, which is why the Dark Ones are so obsessed with it. And if you haven't already, or in case you've forgotten and you consciously work with guides, personal guides, go ahead and call them in now. And then shift your attention back to Gaia. See her way over there in the middle. And all of a sudden, everything goes bright white. As we reach and push through that last thick outer boundary of this universe, getting very bright, you can barely see Gaia in the middle. The sacred, worshipped one. Representing the goddess collective as well. And we are through. The brightness completely disappears. It's the dark silver tone, and we rise above a massive ball of light that quickly becomes a very small ball of light that is the universe that we just left, rapidly. Rising above a whole ocean of universes, that is the multiverse or portion of the multiverse we are leaving. Let go. Receive the image. When the intent has been set. And you see the whole multiverse now, and we rise above that. Being a slightly more hazier ball of light, we rise above a whole ocean of other multiverses, of the multiverse. Says, and that quickly disappears. Shift a bit of your point of attention back to your guides and Gaia. While I run through the standard protocols Authentic height, we call upon the one true authentic light beings, the high. Please make sure we go to you when no one else truly. Lift your adoring gaze up above from Gaia. Lift it up. And you look through the crystal ball. You can see a single, little, very distant point of white light. And brighter and brighter. Now lighting up the whole roof of the crystal ball. We finally reach it, and we get to it. We come to a sudden yet gentle stop, and we slowly and lovingly push through this platform of light. We begins to close at the bottom, opens up at the top. Gaia in the middle. We nestle gently, lovingly on top of this platform of light. We form a straight line of solidarity behind and a little above Gaia. Adore the beautiful northern polar ice cap. You can see Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, very visible. The crystal ball begins to peel evenly. From the very top center all the way down. Nice and slowly to make that adjustment, that acclimation to this super high frequency. That your field gets pumped full of, obviously benefiting you greatly. And now for that sacred moment. Of feeling, connecting, and receiving that profound, upgrading, cleansing, low light and codes of these managers of multiverses. And if you're new, just do your best to stay awake, because their light can be a little overwhelming for all the right ascension reasons. Just do your best to receive. You may simply see them as light beings. And let's all establish our own connection, feel their unique energy signature, which helps and is great for any internal work you want to do with them because they rip through anything so much faster. And of course, provide way more protection, which is why we do what we do. More bang for our buck, to use the 3D street terminology. So I'm going to be a little bit silent for about a minute or two while you, again, effectively meditate with them, which, like I said, effectively begins the mass meditation. But this is well, certainly for most, a profound, sacred moment of stillness and bliss, which is what real stillness actually does. Really powerful upgrading and great training in terms of energy work and being a great energy worker yourself. I'll certainly help you do that and become that if you don't see yourself that way. Time to change. We're entering a new era. 2025 is the peak of transition. Hence the initial roughness of the first few months. And it'll smooth out way quicker upon us doing our job. You're a starseed, do your job. You have a proud galactic heritage. They, not just cheering you on, but to be frank, expect nothing less. Not that they're not understanding of what you've been through. It's not the message either. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. And this is a great opportunity for you to go deep in a safe, protected way. So feel the unique energy, initially through your thalamus area, which is where our physical higher senses are for the most part. And do enjoy the spectacle. Again, the further out you project your consciousness from the physical to wherever throughout all that is, the more real and instantaneous it is. You'll want to take advantage of that. Authentic God, can you please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you to an undeniable, unmistakable physical level? And by the way, if you're new, you will want to, and you are encouraged, let's just say, to step outside of linear time for several reasons, power being one of them, not being bound and therefore limited by linear time that primarily operates through the left hemisphere brain. Be in the now. Way more power. Kind of lose yourself from a rational mind perspective in the now. And then go deeper in the now. That's how you align with your higher self, intuitive and psychic insights and accuracy. That's where the treasure chest is. Step outside of linear time through intent and letting go and focusing on the heart. Feel what they feel like. And again, if you're new, don't worry about any, let's just say, perceived slow start or difficult start or that kind of thing. That's just the usual resistance from black magic rituals that they do in real time in trying to push down or back down the timelines that are partly responsible for the roughness, especially over the past few weeks and months. Authentic Heart, please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly feel you at the heart level. Time to move into the heart level as the background director. It does not mean forget about the mind. You don't want to make that mistake. And have a little bit of background consciousness on your heart or chest area. Again, if you're new, we've effectively started the mass meditation a good 20 minutes ago. As you are looking at them, you are going deeper into the now, accessing naturally and by default more power. You will be shown how to direct that for world and life transformation. The 144K does not mince its words. We don't have time for anything else. Nice. Again, if you're new, you didn't feel them, it's okay, because they are, and only because they are way outside of most Starseeds reference points. And that's getting resolved. I'm going to be doing a whole video tutorial on that in the near future, because it's a big deal. That does limit Starseeds in terms of your potential. And yep, there's a way around it. So fear not. We march forward to unconditional freedom. Never mind justice, especially to children. Big time. Okay. Teams want to do just a little bit more work on your aura. So stand in resolute presence and fortitude. Okay. Yeah, they're lighting up everyone's auras, really cleansing it, clearing it. Again, everyone's different. You're either sensitive enough or not sensitive enough at the somatic level. You're either have a reference point for such a thing or you don't. All normal, shall we say, or common. The fact that you're even here is quite the victory, I can assure you, considering what all of us, never mind humanity, has been through, especially the past 18,000 years, given the last 300,000 years has been ridiculous enough. Okay. Anxious pup. We have an anxious pup. You might hear her in the background. Take a deep breath through your nose. Again, if you're new, this is all very new to you. Trust. Learn to trust again. Trust has been one of the main casualties of the past few hundred thousands of years. Trust. Believe me, it's worth it. As you remain without any idea or sense of limitation within your right hemisphere. Okay, great. Put another glance at your guides if you consciously work with any, while I quickly set things up for a little pleasant surprise by a rather profound a representative, I guess you would say, of the Goddess Collective. As we prepare for that, let's get to omnipresence and call in the rest of the teams. Let's make it happen. Freedom now. And freedom always begins with freeing consciousness and freeing the energetic blueprint of this world, this matrix. Let's make it happen. We are the 144K. Maintain presence and vision while I call in the rest of the teams. I call upon the infinite army of the authentic Gamalgam. They are brilliant auric technicians. They do exist in ships from this universe. And they are of a direct lineage of the team of beings that created this universe and physicality. They are in a vast fleet beneath us, way beneath us. Let's call in their elders, authentic elders of the authentic amalgam. Please be here with us, Marin and Rue. And we call upon the team of beings that created this universe and the very unique, throughout all that is, it seems, physicality as the kind of like the secret source of corralling the dark back to the light and transmuting the rest, I guess. The grandest of all experiments, and thank goodness it's working. They represent themselves as a man. You can see him as a golden being of light off to the right, perhaps. In this model, referred to as Oberon. Repeat after me, everybody. I call upon all of my higher density aspects that is a much more accurate way of describing all of that, the higher self, because higher self implies lower self that you supposedly are, which is not accurate, never mind, not fair. You are no one's lower self. You are the tip of the spear, the most honored and bravest one of the lot. And that is what it is, as I say here in America. See him or her next to Oberon. You're the god. Place everyone where you want. Be the god. Accept yourself. Things get difficult only when you don't. Okay, repeat after me. I call upon the entirety of my soul, over soul, and authentic I am. And see your soul as a distant star up above the hod, perhaps. Your oversoul, perhaps in a different color for the sake of differentiation. Behind your soul, obviously slightly bigger. Behind that, your I am, bigger ball of light. Behind your oversoul, back to white perhaps. Authentic legion of light. There is Gaia before us there. Can you please take us all to the space and place of omnipresence, where we are about to embark on a little pleasant goddessy surprise. Okay, everything goes really bright white. You have to squint your eyes. You can barely see Gaia or anything else for that matter in the foreground as we are taken to omnipresence around burst and thank goodness, directly omnipresent. And the brightness just disappears. everything looks the same, we henceforth work from omnipresence, courtesy of the limitless nature of our right hemisphere consciousness. Take a deep breath through your nose. We're going to do something cool. And something that Source, well, Goddess, is, I guess, insisting on. And darkness never likes that. And we will be there to clear any resistance. And of course, we say that with a bit of a sly sort of a smile, don't we? So get comfortable. See at least two of the teams, preferably odd, the managers of the multiverses, and your I am at a minimum. If you can't or don't see everyone else at the same time. It's quite a panoramic, stupendous view. As we're about to all kind of, in a sense, metaphorically, energetically, step aside for the wheel of Goddess, beginning in less than a minute. Get comfortable. It's a pleasant surprise and a rather unpleasant surprise to opposing forces. Let's bring her in. Maintain vision. Enjoy the splendor.
Allow your consciousness to expand into an even more relaxed and omnipresent, omniscient state. State your intention to join with others doing this short 20-minute meditation and to amplify this meditation so that it becomes a tool to connect all our energies with each other and with the energies of the planetary Wesak activation, which is now. On the Wesak full moon, at this moment, ascended beings are gathering in their light bodies in the sacred valley called Wesak in Tibet to discuss and help determine the course of evolution for humanity for the next 100 years. At this moment, a strong pulse of the emerald ray is emanating from the cosmic central sun. At this moment, all of us who are meditating are allowing these multidimensional energies of the emerald and this pulse from the galactic central sun to enter our energy fields, to heal us and upgrade us all of the 144,000 to the level in our ascension process. This emerald ray is traveling through the M87 galaxy, through the whole Milky Way galaxy, through the Al-Nilam Stargate of Orion, into our solar system, and from there towards the Earth. It is activating all ascended beings to their next highest level. It is beginning the activation of the Holy Grail Moldavite chalice, hidden in a certain underground location in the Himalayas. And the Holy Grail Moldavite chalice will activate multidimensional star codes in the light bodies of the 144,000 members of the Anutara star family, accelerating their reawakening after forgetting of 1996, after the third Archon invasion. At this moment, the moment of the planetary Wesak activation, Pluto is making an exact heliocentric trine with the M87 galaxy. Haumea is making an exact heliocentric semisextile with the M87 galaxy. This allows the emerald ray, which is enriched with cosmic love energies from the M87 galaxy, to enter our solar system and heal a great deal of the trauma that was caused to the solar system by the Archon invasion in 1996. At this moment also, Jupiter is making an exact geocentric conjunction with the Al-Nilam Stargate in Orion, allowing very advanced healing energies to come in from Archangel Metatron in order to disentangle them from the remaining anomaly. And now, as we connect to these multidimensional energies, allowing them to enter our energy field and heal us, upgrading us to the next level in our ascension, invoke the violet flame from its primary source to place a circle of protection around you and everyone else meditating during and after this meditation. Ask this violet flame, the cosmic diamond violet flame, to transmute anything that does not serve the light. Begin to visualize the emerald ray emanating from the cosmic central sun. Visualize the emerald ray reaching the M87 galaxy and beginning to travel through it. As it travels through the M87 galaxy, it becomes deeply, deeply infused with cosmic love. Now visualize this emerald ray traveling towards the Al-Nilam Stargate in the Orion constellation. And as it travels through this stargate, visualize Archangel Metatron infusing very advanced healing energies, which will disentangle this planet from the remaining unknown. Now visualize this emerald ray exiting the Al-Nilam Stargate and heading towards our solar system, directly focused on our beautiful, beloved Gaia. Now visualize this emerald ray reaching Gaia and beginning to activate the Holy Grail Moldavite chalice in an underground location in the Himalayas. See this Moldavite chalice begin to sparkle and glow. Visualize the multi-dimensional star codes that are beginning to be emitted from the Holy Grail. Visualize these star codes calling to the multi-dimensional star codes in the lights of the 144,000. Visualize all those still unawakened waking up, and this reawakening becoming greatly accelerated in a smooth and sustainable fashion. Now visualize this emerald ray hitting the Moldavite chalice of the Holy Grail, and also activating all ascended beings around the earth. And then activate each and every star seed throughout this world. Visualize this emerald ray transmitting cosmic love energies from the M87 galaxy to each and every star seed who is now reawakening. As this happens, visualize emerald ray healing traumas within all these star seeds, especially those who experienced the Archon invasion in 1996. Visualize the emerald ray spreading throughout their hearts, and from their hearts to every cell in their bodies. Visualize each and every one of them hearing Sananda saying, "Father, forgive them, for they know what they've done." Visualize them forgiving themselves and each other And visualize that as they do this, the darkness just evaporates like a shadow being dissipated as the light comes in. Visualize all that trauma becoming the shadow, just like in a Hollywood movie, retreats like water, evaporating as the energies from Archangel Metatron coming through the Alnion Stargate evaporate the remaining anomaly from the hearts of these starseeds, from their bodies, from their memories. Visualize all that trauma just evaporating in the emerald ray as if it never happened, as if it never existed. Visualize the starseeds healing, starting with the heart, the cells of the heart, which is the first part of the body to form in the womb, in the mother's womb. And then from there, all the other cells who are directed by the heart to heal, to realign themselves according to the energies of divine cosmic love. And now, see and feel this emerald ray in a special Wesak activation entering your own energy field. And through your energy field, subtly spreading down through your bodies, your mental body, your astral body, your emotional body, your plasma body, down to the physical body. Feel the emerald ray reach in your heart. Bask in that beautiful emerald energy. Of the Wesak moon during the Taurus part of the astrological zodiac. Now feel your heart fully infused with this beautiful emerald ray, sending light codes to the rest of your body. Any place you're holding trauma, wounded feelings, hurt, misperceptions. Feel it pulsing gently with each beat of your heart, sending these multidimensional star codes to each and every cell. Healing your body and spirit in the most miraculous of ways. Allow these energies to flow throughout your entire physical body, emotional body, mental body, plasma body, and astral body, creating absolute miracles with the energies of Archangel Metatron and the M87 galaxy. and the Ascended Masters. Now connect the emerald ray in your heart to the emerald ray in the heart of all the other meditators during this moment of the planetary Wesak activation. Tune into these energies as they unite our star family. And now feel this beautiful holy grail within the human Starseed collective, the 144,000, begin to connect to the actual holy grail in the underground location in the Himalayas. Feel the light codes transmitting back and forth, as the 144,000 awake, awakening, still unawake, begin to perfectly synchronize their energies with the Holy Grail in the Himalayas, so that these multidimensional star codes can flow freely and purely in a harmonious, seamless, and fluid transmission, so that we, the 144,000 throughout the world, now act as one, guided by these multidimensional star codes from the Holy Grail. And now, as this harmony completes itself, rewiring, harmonizing, balancing, calibrating, checking in with the Holy Grail into the Himalayas, everyone receiving these codes for the ascension, codes for planetary liberation. Feel these codes begin to glow and pulse in each and every one of us, so that all humanity and all of Gaia can experience this beautiful emerald light. And keep this feeling in your heart from now into the future, forever. Victory of the light.
Okay. Needless to say, beautifully timed. We had to make sure everything was set up, ready, and performed at this level, way beyond the multiverse from omnipresence as well, to ensure that any block and resistance to this critical intervention, courtesy of our beloved comrade that goes by the codename Cobra, is fulfilled to its fullest potential, and then any resistance is cleared fast to ensure fullest potential, highest timeline realization of what this carefully expertly guided meditation offers. Now look up, or should I say, look somewhat down towards Gaia in a white quarantine sphere. Pick a single monotone holographic color that represents omnipresence of Gaia. I made sure I paid some attention, background attention to the teams as we did this. There is some, shall we say, toxed out energies and entities that are not liking this, that did not like this one little bit. Obviously, pretty euphemistic there. From omnipresence, hold the intent of transmuting any resistance blocks of any form. All you veterans know the drill. Look up at your soul over soul and I am way over on the other side, the Hod, Oberon, at a minimum, and have at it as we spend the next 20 or 30 minutes or so clearing any resistance, because do either quickly or gradually shut down what has just been achieved. FYI, the 144K ensures that we don't make, or that mistake does not happen. As always, hold the intent. Anything that came up through what we just did, transmute it white, and in a few seconds watch it disappear, and just keep on doing that for the next 10 minutes or so per your unique soul direct. That's really important. And then we'll return some focus back to the emerald beam of light and amp it up several extra notches of intensity, to say the least, and then clear any further resistance, and then we will be done to ensure the fullest, highest potential of this critical step, courtesy of Cobra, that we will ensure, thanks to what we're doing, especially in the next half hour, the fullest potential is not denied to us. Big time. Have at it. Take no prisoners. Follow your soul's intuitive directive. As always, be open and willing to go way outside your reference point by simply being the silent, completely non-trying, and that's an incredibly powerful tool, completely non-trying vision, witness, outside your reference points, because that's where freedom lies, beyond your current level of consciousness. Have at it. I'm going to be quiet for roughly 10 minutes before I come back online. Apologies for any background noise. We are traveling. Transmute, transmute, transmute. One after the other. Do not stop. Just trust me on this one. Do not stop. Go, go, go. This is a massive opportunity for a massive timeline upgrade. Have at it. Fulfill your soul's duty. Take that occasional glance right just above Gaia, as in the other side in the background, where your soul, oversoul, and I am are. Have at it. roughly 10 minutes. 10. the background to the soul. More than does the job. And don't stop. Believe me, you don't want to stop. Increased ascension. Literally, in real time, ironically, I guess, since we're working out outside of time. Yeah, there's a hard to describe in terms of what I'm seeing. But I guess for me to describe what I'm seeing is not affected by what your sense of is. Because there's always an element of subjectivity based on current level of consciousness, which is a limiter. So that's why I give it at least 20 minutes before I open my mouth in terms of what I can distract or detract what you're seeing. Because you have a soul purpose to fulfill, unique to you, and that is critical. So, have you ever seen, I don't know, a blue torch, I guess, and you know the flame coming out hard and fast, but between the nozzle of the blowtorch and where the fire becomes visible, you'll notice that that's sort of invisible, basically. A little gap where there seems to be nothing there, at least visually speaking, and then the flame sort of starts. Kind of like that, except the flame is transmutational white light. And around where the nozzle is, or a gap of seeming invisibility before the flames start, there's dark. and is constantly being pulled out. And then just above that, a little further along, it's being lit up, transmuted. So this is, I can't come up with any more quote unquote spiritual sounding terms. So I'm just going to have to say give the best description of this. And this is the Great Flush. The mass resistance is another thing that comes to mind. Now, sort of zoom out, see, to really make sure you're seeing the whole thing from time to time, so that you can also see the teams in the background, all across the background. And clear, as if your life depends on it, for those of you where such a mindset approach works, because it doesn't work for everyone. But if it does do so, because millions of lives, especially throughout China and Africa, Middle East, with what's coming or may come, does depend on what we are doing right here. It isn't just, quote unquote, the white hats. They're only a small part of it all. I guess by and large, we're a small part of it all, to be conservative about it, but a very critical part of it all, just like the physical white hats are. One critical part goes missing or underperforms. Humanity again, the price. And we all know what darkness is like when you don't want to be there, nor witness for that matter. Stand fast for your freedom and ultimate healing for all. A great flush. Lift out all or witness the teens, your almighty, seemingly infallible I am, from omnipresence, lift out the lot. How dare they deny us and even think about standing between us and love, justice, freedom, reunion. How dare they stand between us and all that is rightfully ours and intrinsically a major aspect of who and what we are. How dare they even think in that direction? You take no prisoners with the full fury and might of all that is channeled through that mass carrier wave known as your consciousness through your heart. How dare they even entertain the idea of standing between us and unconditional love as that pervasive natural divine force that governs and runs everything in our world, our lives, and throughout all that is. How dare they? I don't care what hole they've crawled out of. As we begin to wrap up in the next couple of minutes, the great flush. Anything and everything, no matter how hidden, wherever it exists within time-space, outside time-space, in between time-space, in between planes of existence and densities, wherever it lies, especially throughout the surface of Gaia, third and fourth density, wherever, complete the great flush over the next minute or so. We are safe outside this quarantine sphere. Lots of little boogies, lots of little creepy crawlies being flushed out. Vortexes, portals, technologies, small and large. Out they go. That have been there for millions of years, by the way. Out they go. Omnipresence, I am presence. Look at your I am presence. Way over in the background, squarely in the eyes, so to speak. Insist it all goes from omnipresence. By doing this, we are literally raising the frequencies, the timeline in real time as we do this more and more. You can see again, when projecting consciousness from this physical plane to pretty much anywhere else of any density or energetic or non-physical dimension, plane, aspect, world, it all happens instantaneously, and abstract visual representations always seems to work just as well. So you can do what I do, which is see it all in a sort of cross-section kind of way, if that's what works for you. To ensure 100% of the fullest, highest potential of this emerald ray activation of all remaining 144K members still dormant is actualized at the physical, third density level of the physical plane, and only go up from there courtesy of the active component of the 144K. Welcome to the 144K. Zoom in, zoom out, see the teams, see who I am. Another minute or so before we wrap up. Arcturian style, of course. All right, the whole thing just seemed to, the white light seemed to just sink in. Everything just went white, it sunk in, and all we saw was a green Gaia, which suggests the energy, codes, heart and spirit and intent of the emerald green light has filled the vacuum. For all intents and purposes, it appears that we have succeeded, courtesy of you and I being here for an extra half an hour to make sure nothing shuts down that beautiful, sacred, feminine, emerald green light that was spread throughout the planet previously, per Cobra's carefully thought out, intuitive guidance. Now zoom in into this green monotone color of Gaia within the white quarantine sphere. And if you see any grey spheres that tend to come up and activate upon Gaia and humanity reaching a certain frequency threshold, you turn that mother white. How dare they stand between us and immense bliss of living in love once again, never mind reuniting with our galactic heritage, nation, family. Feel the joy of your soul as it sees you actually succeeding. Holy cow, in the very most broadest long-term sense of your overall mission and purpose. I'm being literal here, by the way, intuitively speaking. Again, change background colors as thy will to make sure these freaking things, because I've been seeing a lot of them working, attaching to people through quantum tunnels, and said person, shall we say, running amok in the energetic or emotional sense, shut them down. They're coming from somewhere. Again, always transform the background colors of either Gaia or the quarantine sphere into a darker tone to have an easier time differentiating with the what was dark into transmutational white light. again, take the occasional glance to your I am at a minimum. It looks like we are done. Now let's spread waves of a very intense transmutational and activating green emerald light throughout the surface of Gaia, throughout her grids, and light up the grids. Let's bring it up. Let's start off with Alaska. Again, pick your dark, perhaps indigo background color. Move that beautiful emerald green light, and in its wake, starting from Alaska, and in its wake, leaving what looks like the surface grid line version of a Christmas tree. Rainbow coloured or Christmas tree lights, crisscrossing lines, emerald, diamond, rainbow coloured lights that are really crystals or vortexes. Light it up. Let's bring her back to her rightful natural state. Is back home we go, beloved ones, in every sense of the word. Home is a frequency, not a location. That frequency is a background, pervasive form of love. The real thing, not our 3D understanding of it, which again is a whole other story. And that's for a whole webinar. But the real thing, not our understanding of it, never mind the experience of it. Move that emerald green light throughout North America into throughout the Rockies, into the southeast of the US, reaching Florida, and into Mexico. Lighting up the grids. Light it up and don't stop lighting it up. It is just so racing the timelines, accelerating ascension, but with grace. Preventing the repeat that we've had, especially since the beginning of the eclipse season, which I'm sure most of you don't want to relive. Down into Mexico, way off to the right we go. Eastward throughout Central America, Latin America, down all the way to the tip of Argentina, all the way over to the Sahara Desert in North Africa initially. Light it up. Europe, beginning with Portugal and Spain just up above the northern tip. northeastern tip of Morocco. Europe. Spread that goddess light so she can better take charge. All the way to Eastern Europe, down through to the Balkans, of Bulgaria, Greece, Turkey, the Black Sea, over into Ukraine. Light it up to bring that war to a far more rapid end, one way or the other. All across the Middle East. Make sure we cover the Levant really well. Saudi Arabian Peninsula into the Gulf, shutting down their full moon rituals, the goddess pentagram of Syria, Jerusalem, etc. Reaching into Iran. Most of you veterans, you know the drill. Covering Kazakhstan, where Borat comes from, all the way. Into India, Pakistan, bringing that false flag war to a rapid end. But don't worry, because India's bombing Cabal assets. So it's all good. All part of the plan. Reaching over throughout Siberia and light it up. The valley. Let's intensify the light. All the way into Thailand, Vietnam, light her up. Our sacred duty. And China. Light up the goods in China to bring a far more peaceful and less violent civil war that's being planned there. And to break up the CCP, this will help with that, bring about a free, prosperous, Chinese Federation. Free Tibet in the process, all the way to Shanghai, Korean Peninsula, Japan, light her up. Go. And of course, Australia. And New Zealand. Lighting up Uluru, a sacred grid point. Make it happen. New Zealand, Tasmania, Antarctica. Easy one to forget, eh? Such massive history over there. Light it up. Hold the light. Intensify the light, especially in Antarctica. All the way back. Across the Pacific, light up the entire Pacific. They got grid lines as well. Light up the whole planet. Crisscrossing lines everywhere. Intensify the light. Connect it all with unifying perpendicular vortexes and grid lines. Reviving the goddess. Make it happen. Zoom out. See Gaia lit up like a Christmas tree. And now make it brighter. Needless to say, all you veterans know this allows both inner Earth, off-world, and terrestrial positive forces to find, remove, see, do, oh so much more. Light it up. Now intensify the light. Move the green emerald light, waves of it throughout, or the crisscrossing rainbow colored light. This is the 144K. We take things to the nth degree, the way Darkness likes to do. And we stand in their way. Reversing it all. Light it up, light it up, light it up, zoom around. What's your higher density mind's eye showing? Any little dark blemishes here and there? Move white light through it, watch it turn into green in its wake. Have fun, especially in the physical, conventional war trouble areas. Light it up. Israel, Palestine. Himalayas, where a lot of, it's kind of like Sedona or the Grand Canyon, where it's very porous in the positive sense, where a lot of high frequency inner Earth light comes through. And we're going to focus a bit more on that in ensuing mass meditations, because we've prepared things and set things up for that kind of thing in this mass meditation, because the 144K is strategic and tactical, because we take planetary liberation seriously. big time. Finishing up on the UK, Italy, Switzerland, Germany. Light them up, light them up, light them up, light them up. And don't stop lighting them up. And the Appalachians, DC area. And finish up. Any part of the world, whether it's your part of the world or anywhere you care about or concerned about, here's your chance, because all the clearing work has been done. So light it up so that negative physical nature dissipate, because they can't hold on anymore. They can't, courtesy of the black magic rituals and frequency weapons, before they start a war somewhere or cause a false flag elsewhere. That's, they always do the energetics first before they do that physical act. We're doing it in reverse, shutting it down, light it up. Emerald waves of light, consolidating, recoding, activating the rest. Move it through Gaia. And we are done. That's right. That instantaneous pride that you felt is for good reason. We have taken the highest potential and fullest potential of what Cobra had intended, and we multiplied it by 10, if not 100. Welcome to the 144K. Zoom out. Kiss and bless Gaia, just with intent and thought, and her surrounding field and humanity. Trapped on the surface, but not for much longer, courtesy of you and I, the 144K collective. Smoothing, love and freedom, the restoration of it all back to divine goddess state, quickening our freedom and galactic family reunion, smoothing it, and allowing us to race instead of walk to the event in far more harmony, smoothness, and grace as well. No more such horrible experiences every time we take such a massive jump in ascension, courtesy. The last eclipse season, this eclipse season as a great example of that, which officially completes itself fully in 2 days' time. I won't miss it. So, remember, beloved ones, we're making it happen. Literally. We don't just talk about it like they do in the old media, with due respect. The 144K walks the talk big time, fully. Now, see Gaia and the surrounding field within the quarantine sphere move white light, removing all energetic traces of your consciousness. White light, violet light, one way and then the other, right to left and then top to bottom, whatever. Clearing and calling back your tracks is another way to put it. See it disappear. Thank the teams, especially the hard and your I am, who really do some heavy lifting through your energy field and this physical surface. Return fully your consciousness back into your room. You've got all your physical surroundings. As Goddess blows you a kiss of such immense gratitude and love. Because you're making this grand experiment within this universe work, succeed. If you think it's all mostly just galactics and white hats, you got another thing coming. And brace yourself for that truth when it really hits home in the coming months. As all that is, including myself, stands up, turns in your direction, and salutes you. The 144K marches on to freedom. Now go watch a no-brainer movie and totally relax. This is your loving servant and loving servant to the Goddess, closing this physical broadcast and intervention and mass timeline jump. Watch your inbox soon. Hugs. Big, big hugs to you all. Feel the love and the joy of a job well done.